Hey everyone! Today we are talking about owning your stuff. Why no one should have control of your marketing. I'm Sarah Gilliland, Director of Digital Marketing, and we want to tell you that with one click, you can lose your entire presence. So today we're going to show you how you can prevent this from happening to your business.
Hey everybody, welcome to our broadcast today of Marketing Mix. Every week we're going to do a different type segment that will highlight all kinds of marketing. We may do some interviews, some Q&A, some tips, trends, do's and don'ts. I don't know, Sarah, we just never know what we're going to pull up.
Yeah, on the fly, whatever comes.
Well, I do want to remind everybody where they can find us, so we want to throw that up really quick. We do have a new podcast channel called Marketing and a Mic, and it basically is a culmination of our Biz Talk series and the Marketing Mix series. So you can find us there. We're live on Facebook and YouTube during these broadcasts, but you can find the replays everywhere else. So I don't think there's any way you can't find us.
Right. Exactly. We're covering everything. So let's get started. We want to talk about, and it is so important to have control of your marketing. And what does that mean? Well, we talk to people all the time and they have no idea about their passwords, their logins, or any access whatsoever to the critical pieces of their marketing. So let's get started. We've got 5 key points that we want to talk to you all about. So let's kind of get with the very first one, which is let's talk about your domain name. So what is your domain? That is your .com. So we're fusion1marketing.com. Some people call it their URL. Technically, it's a little different, but a lot of people, it's kind of a name association as your URL. But you always want to buy your own domain. Because if you need to know who owns it, and if you don't, find out. And I mean, really, I'm blasting it today. And that's the thing is if you're sitting there right now and you know who owns yours, hey, guess what? A tip, you can find out. So go ahead and pop that up, and we'll talk about a great way is whois.net. So what that is that's going to show you, as you can see right there, Fusion One Marketing is already registered. So what that will do is you can plug in your domain and see who is the registrar. So ours is GoDaddy.com, and that's basically, that tells us where it was purchased from and how you got it. We love GoDaddy. It's tried and true for domains. They've got a great reminder system, which is really important because when you go on and you buy your domain, you have to renew it. And so what does that mean? When you do purchase it, make sure that you remember the email address that you used to purchase that domain. And why that's important is because they're going to use that email address to send you reminders when it is time for you to renew that domain. And it's very important that you renew it. And why is it important? Because if you don't renew it, you could lose it.
Yes. And I know people are like, yeah, sure. I'm sure that's happening. I'm sure somebody's sitting there waiting for my domain to expire and hoping that I don't get it. Hey, Kelsey.
I'm really sorry about that.
Kelsey, you're in the wrong broadcast room.
But now she got me laughing. But it does happen, Sarah. I'm promising you it does happen. I want to give you an example, and this is a really wild example, and I'm going to back this up just a little bit.
Yes.
Remember this name. Remember this name. I'm getting to the point here. All right. But we want to talk about this. Let me see. Let me stop sharing. I'm really good at the screen sharing, Sarah. I'm glad that you picked me to do this. All right, there we go. All right. Remember this name. How about that? There's a certain pest control company in Tuscaloosa that had this problem. We all have our competitors, and they have theirs for sure. One of their biggest competitors is Bama Exterminating, okay? So if I look over here, I just Googled this pest control company, and I go over here. Here's their Google their Google listing and everything. So I'm going to just press on their website because I want to see what they have to offer. So let's just see.
Yes, this is.
That wasn't who it's supposed to be, is it?
Yeah, that's not Warrior.
That's not Warrior Pest Control, and it just happens to be their biggest competitor. So obviously what had happened is they let their domain name go, and guess what? I mean, that would be horrible. Yes. And they're not going to get it back. I mean, right. They had to go out and find a brand new domain name. And instead of the ever popular .com like you want to have, they had to settle for .net. So anyway, it does happen, unfortunately. And along those lines too, Sarah, you never want to let a marketing company buy your domain for you. You always want to have control. Even if you need help, have them help you buy it. But you want to make sure you have the login to GoDaddy so that you can at least, I mean, if you have to fire them, you could at least change the passwords and the login before you fire. So I would think that would be number 2 tip. I don't know which number we're up to now, but make sure that if you are sharing it, that you want to change it before you change marketing companies.
Yeah, so that's really important. I mean, again, it all goes back to just having your log information, having control of it. And we just saw that example with Warrior. They didn't renew it, and Bama saw it, and they grabbed it, and they took it.
All's fair in pest control, I guess.
Yeah, and now they've got their customer. All right, so let's go on to number 2, which is your email. And it's really your email system. You really want to know who your email system is and if it's connected or tied to your website. Or if it's tied to a different company like Microsoft. Like you want to know what it's tied to, and you want to have administrative access to everyone's email. That's so important, because if you don't lose it, or if something happens and your website's down, you don't have access to it, it can be a big problem. And we have seen it.
Yes, unfortunately, we have seen it. We learned early on in our marketing company's career that if your emails are tied to your domain, so ours is fusion1marketing.com, and my email is Glenna@fusion1marketing.com. If that is the case, there's a possibility that it's tied to your website. And what that means is if you change marketing companies and they put a new website up for you, it could completely wipe out all your emails. So it may not be quite as common as it used to be because most people are using like Microsoft 365 or Google to put their emails through. So you do what, excuse me, anyway, just make sure that you have access. I also kind of want to back up and talk about something that a lot of people think cheaper is better or even free is better. Having your supposedly friend or your supposed employee take care of something because they'll do it for free may not be the thing to do either. We had a situation happen where we were working with a company and they came to me and said, hey, we have an employee who can do this hosting and stuff for us for free, and we just want to have him do it. So it's like, okay, I mean, it saved them a little money. We did warn them that they need to make sure that they have all the logins before that they added this employee. So apparently they didn't listen to us. And 3 weeks later, I get this frantic call, like, you've got to help us. You have to help us. The employee got fired, got mad, and he pointed their domain, their .com to, let's just say, not a very nice site. So every time they pulled up,
use your imagination.
I mean, yeah, it was a roofing company. And if you typed in their such and such.com, it went to a place that you definitely do not want your domain going through. So again, what's our point, Sarah? You better have control of this stuff.
Yes, have access to your stuff. Even if you're not actively using it, make sure you're login and have complete control over it, because as what Glenna just said, you give it to an employee who, hey, I know how to do a website, let me do it, and then things don't work out, guess what? They get you messed up. So
yes, bad can be really bad.
yeah, not good. So that leads to websites. We need to expand on that a little bit more. Again, know who your website company is and how to log into it. Maintain administrative control. You can always give lower access to anyone who needs it. So, but you just want to make sure that you stay at the top. And again, I just said, even if you are not actively planning on going in there and making all the changes, you have to have control over it. You've got to do that, and you've got to know who and have access to who logs into it. So, again, you just don't want to get yourself into trouble that way.
And a lot of this seems really technical. And I would say, it's no joke. Probably 80% of the people I meet with, first of all, they don't even have an idea that there is a login to the website. And if they're, once I convince them that there is, they have no idea what it is. So again, it can be a very sticky situation. If you're with one marketing company and you're dissatisfied and you want to go to a new marketing company, it's really hard to get that administrative access back from somebody. So it's just always have control over it. So if you have a website and you're listening to us, and we keep saying it over and over and over, so think about it. Do you know how to log into yours? I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's so true. You just don't want to give someone administrative control. It's really important. You can get yourself into big trouble. We have seen it. We have dealt with it. We know.
All the time, unfortunately.
All the time. Mm-hmm. So that also moves us into number 4, social pages. And again, this is something that's so important. You need to know your login information for all your social media channels. And again, you should be the admin, be the and it's really important. So let's take Facebook for an example. Facebook and Instagram, you can control all of this through their business manager section on your page. And what that does is you can click in there under business manager, and you can click under admin, and you can actually assign the people who can go on, and you can assign the actual tasks that they have control over. So if you're not planning on doing your social media posts, or you have somebody else, that's great. But just know your login information, because then if you don't, we talk about this again, it's you lose control.
Yes, most definitely. And again, we see this every day. We have a lot of people coming to us, and they're usually with another marketing company, or they're coming to us because they're dissatisfied and they want a different solution. So just as an example, I'll tell you a couple examples. This week, I had one company who basically none of them were on social media, but it ended up being okay because they had a whole book of every single login that they've ever used for anything. So whoever set that up at least had their login book. So, that seems simple and simplistic, but it was helpful because it allowed us to get into those things without any trouble. Now, on the other hand, we had a company that, again, none of them were on any of the social media channels. This other marketing company was working with them, and that other marketing company was the only person on that had ownership of any of their social media. So you want to talk about a convoluted thing that we had to do? I had to actually talk somebody through getting on Facebook who's not even ever been on Facebook. So we had to get them on as admin. And then the little secret is Facebook says you have to be an admin for over a week before you can make any changes or delete anyone. So we had to wait a whole week. Anyway, long story short, it was a disaster. It was a complete mess. So I know we're harping on it, but you guys, this is simple stuff.
Well, and it takes a week. So if it takes a week for you to take that other person off as admin, a lot can happen in a week.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're trying to get rid of someone, if you're trying to get rid of someone who has access to your page and then all of a sudden you're trying to eliminate them and they've got to wait till that you can get them off. I mean, like I said, a lot can happen. So
Yeah.
it's,
People are usually happy if you're like firing them as a marketing company and trying to go with somebody else.
Right, exactly. If you're trying to switch and go with another company, they're not going to make it so easy for you. Oh, boy. Okay, so that leads us to number 5, which is Google properties and listings. Okay, so Google My Business. I mean, it really is the heart of SEO. It's really where you should start. It's how your business gets started on and searchable online. So it holds all your company information, including customer reviews, and so it is a big deal.
Yeah, huge.
And so we have to say, yeah, this is why we have to say again, always maintain the login for Google properties. So we'll show a little bit about that. But again, I mean, you've got to know it. If somebody else has it, they are in the driver's seat.
Yes. And what's even worse is if you're with a marketing company and you're paying them for SEO or for you to be found on the internet and they're doing a really horrible job and you want to move to somebody else. I mean, it takes a lot of money to show up on the internet. And if they have created this, what we call the Google listing or Google My Business, and you can't get control of it, there's all kinds of things they can do. They can mark, like here's ours for Fusion One Marketing. They could actually mark you permanently closed. They could take the listing down. There's lots of things that we could do. And if you are a business owner, you know how hard it is to get Google reviews. You would be locked out. You can't respond to those, and you could possibly lose all of them. So anyway, I know we're driving the point home, or we're hopefully driving home over and over and over, but it's very, very important. If you don't have this Google login, not only does it affect your Google My Business, but there's other things that you can log into all the time that you're not going to be able to get into. So it's not just Google My Business, even though that's the main thing that we want to worry about. It can just cause problems all over the place.
Yes, truly. And it really is a matter of one click and they can completely delete you out. So
absolutely.
And you don't know the login and you can't get in, and it's
because without Google, I don't know who's ever tried to do SEO without without Google being part of it. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. So we've explained all the no-nos, all the things that you and all the things that are very important that you do. We also have a recommendation. We've got a really good solution to all of this. So what we recommend is LastPass, and LastPass is amazing. It can really solve everything. And it does a few things. First of all, it keeps all of your login information, all of your passwords in one spot so that you don't have to, rely on the old brain here to keep everything, or jot it down and then where did I find it? And where's
that login book? I mean,
where did I save it? So it keeps everything in one spot, and it gives you access without, this is the beautiful part, is if you do give admin to others and you want to give them control of what they're doing, you can actually give them access without handing over the actual logins. And that is huge.
It is huge. It's huge for your marketing properties. It's also huge for just being an employer in general. You don't have to give, especially if you have a lot of employees and you have a lot of things, like we have so much software that we have to get into. It would almost be impossible to give everybody a different login. Plus the fact, if they have to leave for whatever reason, we don't want all of our stuff, going down the tube. So yeah, Sarah made the great point. They never have to even know what the login is. All they have to do is click on it and go to the place that they need to get in. So anyway, that's our way of getting around all of this, just to make sure that we don't have to worry about passwords. And I'll tell you, I can't remember a password. Have a different password.
No, I mean, and this is the greatest thing. I just love the feature that it has, that ability that you can have employees get access, but they don't see the password. So it's double protection. So it's just
everything.
Yeah, that's everything. That is everything.
So if you did not listen to us and did not hear us say it like 20 times, own your stuff. And that's a good, nice way of putting it. and make sure that you know how to get into everything and have all those logins. So I think that's about it. We were really
that's
doing
it.
that
That's it. We'd like to thank you all for tuning in and watching. And don't forget, we've got a brand new Biz Talk on Friday with our guest Kim McCullough with Whiskers and Wags, and we are very excited. So thanks for tuning in, and we will see you all next time.
Yeah, thanks. Bye.